A thousand winters is not a poetic exaggeration when it comes to Viking timber. Ships buried in clay, hulls abandoned to the cold, and everyday tools lost to bogs have survived conditions that destroy modern treated wood in just a few decades. This endurance was not accidental, and it was not due to rare trees. Vikings worked with ordinary timber in extraordinary ways. Their real secret was a disciplined system that controlled moisture, fed wood with protective substances, and accepted maintenance as part of ownership. Once you understand this system, the survival of Viking wood stops feeling mysterious and, well, starts looking practical. The Vikings knew that wood fails from moisture cycles, not age. Viking builders did not fear time. They feared repeated wetting and drying. Rot organisms thrive when wood stays damp but oxygen-rich. The Norse response was simple in theory and demanding in practice. Either keep wood dry and ventilated or saturate it with substances hostile to decay. Excavations at Hedeby show timber that was clearly treated before use, indicating that preservation started long before construction began. This mindset shaped every step, from tree selection to yearly upkeep. Winter felling and patient seasoning prepared timber before treatment. Vikings typically felled trees in winter when sap levels were low. Less sap meant fewer sugars for fungi to feed on. Logs were then split and stacked off the ground, shaded from rain, and left to season for years. Speed was never a goal. Slow drying reduced internal cracks where moisture later accumulates. If you want to apply this today, fell or buy timber in colder months when possible, stack it on spacers, protect it from direct rain, and allow airflow. Even one extra year of air drying dramatically improves durability. Fire hardening was used to armor wood at its most vulnerable points. One of the most effective Viking techniques was controlled charring. Posts destined for ground contact were lightly burned until the surface carbonized. This destroyed surface nutrients, hardened the outer layer, and repelled insects. After charring, the loose carbon was scraped away, leaving a sealed but breathable surface. This method is still effective today. Torch the bottom ends of fence posts or shed supports, let them cool completely, brush them clean, and then install them. This single step can double or triple service life without chemicals. Pine tar was the true Viking preservative, and it worked from the inside out. The cornerstone of Viking timber survival was pine tar. Produced in earthen kilns by slowly heating resin-rich pine under low oxygen, tar penetrated deep into wood fibers instead of forming a brittle surface coat. It repelled water, discouraged fungi, and remained flexible in freezing temperatures. The timbers of the Oseberg ship still show traces of tar after more than 1,000 years. To use this today, warm pine tar until it flows, brush it onto completely dry wood, allow it to soak in, and repeat over several days. Reapply periodically in exposed environments, just as the Vikings did. Salt water was used to toughen wood rather than avoided. In coastal regions, Vikings sometimes soaked timber in seawater before final drying. Salt leached sugars from the wood and disrupted microbial growth. After soaking, wood was air-dried slowly in wind and shade. This process produced tougher planks for ships and tools. Modern builders can use this technique for non-structural outdoor wood by soaking it in salt water for several weeks, then drying it thoroughly before oiling or tarring. Design choices kept water moving instead of trapped. Viking preservation did not stop with treatment. Their designs actively shed water. Ships used overlapping planks that flexed and drained. Buildings had steep roofs, raised floors, and wide eaves. Wood was rarely allowed to sit flat where water could pool. At sites like Borg, longhouse timbers show minimal decay because construction worked with gravity and airflow. Today, you can apply this by elevating wood off soil, sloping horizontal surfaces, and avoiding sealed joints outdoors. Maintenance was built into Viking life, not postponed. Perhaps the most important reason Viking timber survived is that it was never abandoned to chance. Ships were hauled ashore yearly, inspected, retarred, and repaired. Damaged planks were replaced before rot spread. This culture of routine care kept small problems from becoming fatal ones. For modern use, the lesson is clear. Inspect outdoor wood annually, reapply natural treatments when surfaces dry out, and replace sacrificial parts early. Why Viking timber survived winters that destroyed later structures. The Viking secret was not a single trick but a philosophy. Control moisture, feed wood with natural preservatives, design structures to shed water, and accept maintenance as normal. When these conditions are met, wood becomes remarkably resilient. It does not need to be frozen in time. It needs to be understood. What this knowledge offers today. In an age of disposable materials and chemical dependence, Viking timber reminds us that durability comes from patience and respect for materials. Fire, resin, salt, airflow, and care kept their wood alive through 1,000 winters. Those same tools are still available now. If this deep exploration of Viking craftsmanship gave you lasting value, subscribe to Past to Live, share this episode with fellow history and survival enthusiasts, and help keep practical knowledge from the past alive by passing it forward.